Things have definitely been interesting. Um, I'm not as angry as I was in the last live. Who actually can hold on to that kind of anger for very long? It's exhausting. And so yesterday, I confronted my sister again, and I made her so mad that I am pretty positive she cast on me. And I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with it. So I ended up taking a bath yesterday and laying down, just taking a bath and focusing on what was going on and journeying in the bathtub. Hey, I'll call you into. Good morning. So I was laying in the bath, journeying, praying, focusing on God. That's what I do is I lay in the bath and just go inside and let God talk to me. And I realized that my sister was by far not the only person who was cast on me. That I have American witchcraft dude now. I'm sure he's casting his spells when he's not trying to get on to teenagers in his little stuff. And so I realized what I needed to do. And so for all of you who have cast on me, I accept. I accept everything you've sent me. Everything you've cast on me, I accept it all from every one of you. All of the stuff that you've done, all the rituals, all the stuff, I accept it. Thank you. Of course, now that I've accepted it, it meant that it was mine. Mine to do with however I wanted because I accepted it. So what I did yesterday in the bath was take it to he who dwells within the dark and asked him to take it from me. Now, I didn't just give it, I asked him to take it from me. And the reason why I asked him to take it from me is because I wanted something in return. See, in order to cast, the basic minimum of casting is that you have to focus your consciousness. You have to focus your essence to cast. That's how it works. That's how it works. And so when I gave all of this shit that they have cast on me to he who dwells within the dark, I asked intent. I asked him, I asked he who dwells within the dark, I want all of their essence. I want all of it. I want it all. They offered it. Now I want it all. I'm not Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ gives life. I've never been able to give life. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Because he who dwells within the dark is going to start draining their souls. That's what's going to happen. Death is coming for all of them. He who dwells within the dark is going to drain them. They wanted to give me their essence. They wanted to focus their essence on me. I agree. I accept. But I gave it away. Today they're going out of their way to try and shut me down. They're going out of their way to shut me down. I'm not angry anymore because anger like that, you can only deal with it I personally can only deal with it for so long. It's draining. A couple days ago, I was so angry after that last live. I spent the whole day in bed the next day. The whole day in bed. And then Thanksgiving, I had people who actually, I kind of made some people miffed because they wanted me to come eat, but I didn't want to be around people. I was in no condition to be around people. When I get like that, I get moody and I say things. And usually it's the truth that I say, but most people don't want to hear about the truth. And so I didn't go eat. But because of the conversations that I've been having, which everyone can go read on my blog, davidshurter.com, the only thing that they can't complain about and get taken down, you can see all of the conversations, all of it. I am pretty sure, almost positive, that FreeRangeHumans person is also the person who calls themselves Skillz, who's also the same person that calls themselves Emily Thorn. Emily Thorn isn't even a real name. It's a character from a soap opera called Revenge. So they just use fake names. Fake names. This morning, if you go look at my post, you can see what they sent me this morning. Trump is going to deal with me. And people wonder why I have a problem with Trump and the people who follow him. Because the people that are after me, you know, what goes around does come around. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it is. It is. And this is all about child trafficking. This is all about exposing child traffickers. Now I'm starting to realize where the whole I'm paranoid schizophrenic comes from. It's the whole reason why they needed to take out Owen, because Owen would have been a defense. They're using someone who helped our stepmother, because it was her who convinced me that our stepmother was dead for years until I ran into her at the farmhouse cafe. Realized she wasn't dead. And then that very same day, I saw her at 1:30 in the afternoon. That very same day, coincidentally, who calls Owen and tells Owen that I'm crazy and I didn't see who I said I saw? His ex-girlfriend, my sister. Convinced Owen. It caused a fight between Owen and I, because I told Owen I didn't need anyone to tell me what my reality was or who I saw, you know? But our family owes a blood debt to all of this. And I was willing to play. For the years that I have done this, I was always under the impression that I was the one who was going to be paying that blood debt, because it had to be paid. And so I offered myself up for that blood debt. But I can't take away, by volunteering for something that someone else has earned. The blood debt's going to be paid. Ain't going to be paid by me, though. This is all about child trafficking. All of it. That's why I put it up here. They got another video taken down today. If you go to my blog, davidshurter.com, I took screenshots, the whole thing. It's the latest article. The last few articles that I have put are very interesting. You need to go read what's being said. And those articles, the links that I have for the stuff that I wrote about the FreeRangeHumans, you need to go read that too. And make sure you look through the screenshots. Because the screenshots of the conversations from the article, it's, you know, what I realized soaking in the bathtub and letting the anger go is faith is all about Faith. I don't know how any of this is going to work out. I don't know how any of it's going to work out. And I am nervous about what's coming down the pike. I can't say I'm not nervous, but I trust in heaven. And I do want to offer an apology. Someone in the comments of my last live told me to stop swearing, stop taking God's name in vain. First commandment. You're absolutely right, and I apologize. Sometimes, especially then, I was so angry with everything that's going on. I am so frustrated sometimes that it's hard. And when I did the live video, the last live video, I will tell you guys, I was on the verge. I was having serious questions about my faith. Serious questions. Because it's easy to get caught up in all of their ugly ass bullshit. It's very easy to get caught up in it. But I think that heaven has it all in hand, and no matter how it turns out, I just have to let go of the outcomes. I have to let go of the outcomes. And that's what I'm doing. I'm letting go of the outcomes. But I'm also not going to put up with any bullshit anymore. You know, you're not going to pretend like you love me and you care about me. At the same time, you're trying to slit my throat and then gaslighting me by telling me you're not trying to slit my throat. That's a little bit too much like our dad. It's almost exactly like our dad. My dad was very good at gaslighting. He could do things to you, and while he was doing it, telling you that you were crazy, that what you thought was happening isn't really what was happening, and how terrible you are to actually think that something like that would happen, and blah, 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 blah. The blog into is where you need to focus. You really, really, really need to focus. Judge not, but have discernment. You know, have discernment. And I'm sorry, but I really, when it comes down to judge not, lest thee be judged, and they did leave Matthew, what was it, Matthew 7, 3-5, how I'm not supposed to judge, you're right. Who am I to judge child killers? You know, who am I to say that child killers are bad? Who am I to say that child trafficking is bad? I shouldn't be able to make that judgment. And I can't, that's where I fail in faith. Again, I ain't going to teach any classes on how to walk on water anytime soon. And I have my own crap that I'm going to have to deal with when I face our Maker. Because I am angry. And I, just like yesterday in the bathtub, I do things that, you know, it was, no, it isn't in vain. Into, I was talking about the commenter who said you shouldn't use God's name in vain. Saying God damn it isn't in vain, in my opinion. No, it's not. And I was angry. I was angry, and I get angry with God. You want to know what? God's big enough to deal with it. Because you want to know what heaven knows? This is the most frustrating part about heaven for me. Heaven knows I'm not going to stop. I can't stop. I won't stop. And heaven knows that. As angry as I get, and let me tell you, God, heaven, has heard an earful from me more than once. Way more than once. There are times that I get so frustrated that I am just, you know, you're using a quote from a Diddy rap to signal what you're going to do. I've never heard a Diddy song in my life. Not my kind of music. Haven't heard a Diddy song at all. Do like some of Justin Bieber's work. Stop referring to me. See, that's this whole game, you know? They're trying to equate me and try and get me to look bad and to try and do whatever they can to make people, they're all anonymous. Like, eh, eh. Here, I'll take a screenshot of it. That way, when I post this on my blog, you can all see. Never heard a Diddy song. Never cared. Never cared. You know? Never been. I'm too old to be a fanatic about any musician. Just trying to give you a heads up on what might be a bad move. Well, thank you. You know, thank you for that. A lot like oink. But I will say that reading that thing with Matthew, do not throw pearls before swine. And that's exactly it. And I know they're on here because they've already been reporting my YouTube station this morning. If you go to my blog, you can see that I already got a video removed. And what they wanted was what I put in the screenshot of this video. That's what they want down. That they're not going to stop until I Isaac Cappy. You know? That's what they're saying. We're in your town and we're not going to stop until you Isaac Cappy. And they think that's acceptable and that's okay. It's interesting how these platforms want to protect the child killers and the people making death threats, but they don't want anybody to hear what the victims have to say, you know? And it is disgusting to harass and threaten people, especially at the same time they'll tell you all that I'm mentally ill. So they're going on someone, hey, cognitive, they're going after someone that they're publicly saying everywhere they can is mentally ill and trying to push me over the edge. And they're all upset because it doesn't seem to work. There is a side of my personality that is like biting down on tinfoil. I won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. And as angry as I get, and God knows, because let me tell you, the other day that I spent the entire day in bed, when I woke up, all I did was bitch at God. That's all I did the whole day. Slept, woke up, bitched at heaven the whole time I was awake. Got so frustrated bitching at heaven that I went back to bed. You know? I'm... And you know, heaven is big enough to deal with it. Heaven and God, shoulders are pretty broad, you know, can handle it. And so, just something tells me that Pootie Twang is on here. Oh, heaven listens to me, and I was bitching. Because I just didn't understand the point. Why put me in this and have me do all of this for years to just have it blow up? There's too much at stake to all of this, you know? Okay, I didn't realize that the can't stop, won't stop quote is a Diddy quote. If that's a Diddy quote, then I'm not going to use it anymore Didn't know, because I don't ever listen to Diddy. I don't know. Rap music is, I'm not a big rap person. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not my thing. You know, Cognitive. That's not why I ever used it. You want to know what? It's good to claim it. Diddy didn't invent words. That's right. And Cognitive says, I hate rap. Cognitive, I think you're a little bit older than I am. I doubt you listen to rap. Rap music is just, it kind of just gives me a headache. Can't stop, won't stop, because that's who we are. That's what I believe. And if I'm not perpetuating Diddy, that's the whole thing, is that a lot of the stuff that was going on, they were telling me Diddy's going to get out of jail. Diddy didn't get out of jail. I just want to point that out. Oh, Cognitive, you're only 6 months older. Well, that's okay. I'm too old for rap. I'm going to be 58 here Friday. Friday. And I'm going to be 58 years. I never thought I'd make it. I never thought I'd make it to this age. And he didn't make that saying up. Thanks, Kyle. I think he just stole everything. Isn't that what they do? Happy birthday early. Thank you. My birthday always sucks. And I'm just broke as shit. And they have me isolated. And I'm just not anticipating. Most likely on Friday, I'm just go to bed, sleep the day away. My birthday kind of sucks. But then when I was a kid, they were murdering kids for me, And that's the other thing, too, is that I got an email yesterday from Andy Villa and telling me, oh, you should be in jail because, I wasn't involved with kids getting killed when I was 13. That all stopped when I was the age of 10. And the reason why it stopped is because my family was so freaking stupid that they made me light that dude on fire. And when it comes down to my stepmother, she's the bitch that gave me the match. She's the one who made me light that match and light that dude on fire. And now I know she's still alive. And let me tell you, laying eyes on her at the Farmhouse Cafe changed everything. I was feeling bad about my sister because I was being told that my sister was taking my place. She's going to be the one who pays the blood debt because of her own actions. She's thrown her hat in with them, She's the one who convinced me that our stepmother was dead for how many years. And then when I saw her, called Owen that night and told Owen that I was crazy, that she was dead. I'm crazy. But when I confronted her with it, do you know what she told me? That someone set up a legacy page for our stepmother. And it was just for her. Because I went onto Legacy, didn't find anything. But I'm supposed to believe that this conspiracy, they're really focused on my house. They're really focused on my house. They want me to lose my house. That's what they want. In fact, I'm just going to take a screenshot of that. They're really focused, and they do shit like that. They say shit like that because I guess it's supposed to make me feel intimidated. Of course, every fucking thing they've ever done to me has failed. Every single thing. Everything in Seattle, everything in Erling, everything in Harlan, everything they've done to me has failed. Okay, well, we'll just take screenshots. You guys are so stupid because then I can just show it online. I just send it It's not like I don't have huge email lists that I just send it to everyone. That's the reason why I got the email that I did. Hang in there, brother. You never know when life takes a good turn. Well, let me tell you, I'm needing it now. I'm needing it now. The only reason why I am in the way that I am is because my faith. Because otherwise I'd be in bed again. I just have to have faith. Be sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. And it's the same room. It's the same room. I live in a very small house. The plants that you see behind me, I got for free. You know, they were dying at Hy-Vee, and a friend of mine was just like, "We're gonna throw these away. Do you want them?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want them. I'll take them home. I'll see if I can bring them back to life." And I brought them back to life. You know, but they're very focused on my house. They're always focused. They're telling me that I'm gonna go to jail, or they're gonna lobotomize me, or it's just constant, non-stop threats. But something has to be changing. Because if you go look at my blog and what I posted this morning, the mentions have completely disappeared. There's only 3 mentions. Captain Underpants and Pootie Twang, who's now calling himself American Witchcraft. Whatever, dude. Whatever. And the last live that he did was that I voted for Harris. Well, I just don't know what to say anymore. This child trafficking stuff needs to be exposed. Well, it wasn't. Pootie Twang is a hilarious name, but it wasn't so hilarious that he was posting live videos on YouTube of Harlan. They were in Harlan posting live videos. And Captain Underpants uses that Nazi frog. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to make sure. People left comments in my last live. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'm not using your names, but I'm taking the stuff that is written and posting it on my blog. Because there are so many people who have been aware. So many of you that are in here were all involved after Isaac died. When I wasn't involved. Because like I said, I took 4 years. I couldn't take anymore. And DP, did you ever read Cleve Baxter text about consciousness in plants, yogurt, eggs, primary perception? I've never read anything like that. I have not read that. That's why I read it out loud, so that I can, because I listen to these afterwards, and just to see what I say. I'm trying to actually get better. I use the words a lot. I'm trying to phase that out. Because maybe you don't know. I don't know if you know. Sometimes I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I love plants. I love plants. They make me feel happy. They always have. And so I like life. That's. So if anybody wants to buy a book, I have books for sale. My PayPal and my Venmo are just D Shurter. Do not send it to anybody else, because the only PayPal and Venmo account I have is D Shurter. Do you know that I got notification that they wanted my credentials for I don't even remember what it's called. I've never heard of it before. But now they can't take money on that anymore because I wouldn't give them my credentials. I didn't even know where it was. So they're signing my name up to all kinds of shit that I have no clue, no clue. And they're so stupid. They put my email address in there. So of course I get notification of it, you know? And so I got it saying you can't send money or get money on this anymore. Well, good, because I never set the stupid thing up anyway. He was the first plant me and my husband ever got together. I miss him. Oh yeah, they're the stuff that I get. They're just on. I guess I've never been on Reddit. I don't even really know what Reddit is. I've never been on Reddit, but you can go on there and type my name. I would be curious to see because they've gone on and on and on of how much shit there is about me on Reddit. I've never been on Reddit before. I'm not gonna go. I don't care. I don't care. You know? And I just don't care what they have to say about me. Like I've said this repeatedly. If they told you that I was a seven-hooded hydra who ate children in one gulp, and they thought that that would get you to not listen to me, they would tell you that I was a seven-headed hydra who ate children in one gulp. But I only have one head, and you can tell I'm not a hydra. But they'll tell you anything they can think of, and they want to report me. They want to get me taken down. They want all of the stuff. Well, I live in a small town. To mess with your bank. Sorry, I misspell when I type fast and I get mad. I go to my bank all the time, and I keep track of everything. And, you know, they're trying to do whatever they can to screw me. They're just trying to take all my stuff down. And it's all about child trafficking because they know that my sheriff is not going to help. My sheriff is helping them. You know, my sheriff is helping them by telling everybody that I'm crazy. There's no indication, don't have any history, have nothing that they can show. Oh, well, I'm going to be 58 on Friday. If I was mentally ill and had issues like that, don't you think that there would be some sort of record? But at 58 years old, I mean, I don't think you can come down with they're telling everybody that I'm paranoid schizophrenic. Do I seem like I'm paranoid schizophrenic? It's just bizarre. Yep, I'll be 58 on Friday. 58 on Friday. And babe, and now I know that's why they took out Owen. You're looking good for 58, sir, if I do say so myself. Thank you. Do you know that I actually watch something on YouTube? Because I get a lot of stuff about, God and people who follow God and all of that. And they say that people who actually have faith that are in God end up looking younger than what they are. And it's you can tell by my hair it's fallen out because they're little toys. They have been blasting the shit out of me. I mean, just that was the thing the other day when I laid in bed that I was so mad about heaven because I kept telling heaven, why don't you just let them kill me already? If none of this is going to change and it's all for naught, just let him kill me already. I'm tired of being tortured in my own house. And I am tired of being tortured in my own house. But I also realize that it's obviously for a reason. God needs me to go through this for whatever reason. And all I can do is keep going down the path. And I'm smoking pot at 9:20 a.m. Sweetie, I'd be right there with you if I could afford it. I don't have any money. I can't afford it. You know, I have the advantage of Asperger's, I guess. ASD people appear younger, which is crazy cognitive because you don't, I mean, obviously we've never met. And I have known people who had Asperger's that I was fine with, but I'm shocked. Thank you for sharing. You know, I have complex PTSD. So it's not like I'm, we all have our own traumas. And the way that we work through that trauma is um Into says the same thing. I would have never guessed you had Asperger's. Oh, God. And now they're just gonna fill this chat channel up because they just want to just take over the conversation and make everyone frustrated. And so I have to say that I love the fact that I can basically block people. I am so glad that I can block people. And I do. That's everyone's warning, you know? And they actually think that they're actually doing something. We can be intense little humans. Well, I don't have Asperger's, and trust me, I can be intense. You know, I blocked Billy, but Into says, Billy, try therapy. It's good for you. I'm a big proponent for therapy. I can't shake my panic attacks. Pot helps. That's why I've been so angry because um I haven't had anything to actually pot helps. I am That's why I have my medical marijuana card because for PTSD pot helps and therapy is key. I think everybody should have to go through to therapy for 3 years. I know that that is an unpopular decision, but it helps you when you can talk to someone about the things you can't talk to anybody else about and you can hear it out loud and you know it's not going to go anywhere, it's just so worthwhile. People would ask me because when I first started therapy, I used to go 3 times a week. And people would ask me, why are you going to therapy? What do you talk about in therapy 3 times a week? And I said, well, I would go to therapy. And on the way to therapy, I would think of all the things that I didn't want to talk about, that made me uncomfortable, that I didn't want to discuss with anyone. And that's what I would bring up in therapy. Cognitive says using breathing exercises and EFT and music. I was a medical professional and it made me better at my work. That's what cognitive says. I agree with that. Breathing is key. And for someone who has complex PTSD, go lay down. I'm not feeding you right now. Go lay down. I love you. You're very sweet. Now go lay down. When you're in the panic attacks, one of the things that I learned in therapy, which has been very helpful, sit down in a chair, focus on your feet on the ground, then focus on your ankles and your shins and your knees and your thighs and your hips and your waist, your chest, shoulders, arms, neck, head. Focus on all of it, breathing in and breathing out. And while you're breathing in and out and focusing all of this, realize that you are okay. At that very moment, you are okay. You may not be that way in 5 minutes, but for right now, you're okay. And the sky is not falling, and there may be shit happening, but at that moment in time, there's nothing you can do. So you focus on letting it go and grounding yourself. Yes, cognitive, that's the word for it, grounding. And that it helps out a lot. And then if that doesn't help, smoke a joint. Of course, I don't have any. Haven't had any for quite some time. Totally broke. It's all right. God obviously wants me to here in this position for some reason. Don't understand it. Don't much care for it. Don't like it. But we do what we need to do when God asks us. Severe anxiety does feel like torture, and that's the reason why they use their machines. Because these directed energy weapon toys that they have, that's what it does. It causes so much severe anxiety. And that's what they're trying to do to me. They know that I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're trying, this isn't going to end until you Isaac Cappy. Well, first of all, I have a problem with that because Isaac Cappy didn't do anything to himself. It was done to him. And the reason why I can say that is because for 4 years the story was, I drove under an overpass and knew the very minute I drove under that overpass, even though I didn't know Isaac, and there were no police presence when I drove under that overpass. But something made me look at my clock, and I know what very minute I drove under an overpass. But now, 4 years later, now suddenly he wasn't driving under the overpass. He was on the bridge. That's how the story's changed. You know, that's how the story has changed. And when you look at that story and then you compare what happened to Owen and the live videos that were being posted on YouTube of my town, and Captain Underpants posting a video on YouTube showing that he was in my town, that story will change too, I'm sure. You know? Words matter. They told us this. They told us the second the news article said he threw himself. Yeah, but at the same time he threw himself, he had sunglasses on and was completely motionless. So if you're sunglasses on and you're completely motionless, because I believe Isaac was dead before he ever got to that bridge, how does a completely motionless person throw themselves off a bridge? How does that work? And the very people who Pootie Twang wasn't even there. Why do you think Pootie Twang came into my town? He wanted me to shut up because he was also on the bridge. Now they weren't, it wasn't that they weren't anywhere on that bridge. Now they were on the bridge and they want to be heralded as heroes because they were trying to save Isaac. Of course, for 4 fucking years, the story was completely different. Now the story has changed, and they're mad because everyone is thinking, you weren't on the bridge, you drove under the bridge, you knew what minute you went under the bridge, and now you were on the bridge. You went for over 4 years saying that you weren't on the bridge. Now you're on the bridge and want to be heralded as heroes. That's quite the discrepancy, you know? Quite the discrepancy. And why did they get away with it? Because there's policemen just like Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross. Oh, by the way, Neil, you better tell your little handler, my handler, your Captain Chad Butler, the next time he tailgates me an inch away, I'm slamming on my fucking brakes. Just warning you now. You want to tailgate me an inch away thinking I'm going to be all nervous? I'll just slam on my fucking brakes. And then I will sue the city. Off topic, but we have new neighbors with a bunch of kids in a Rottweiler rescue. They seem nice. I knew someone with 3 Rottweilers. These dogs had to have been 250 pounds apiece. They were huge dogs, huge. And they were aggressively friendly. It was so much fun to be around those dogs because you had 3 dogs. Each one of them were 250 pounds. They could push you around really easy. And what they usually wanted to do is, for some reason, just like my dogs, I mean, 2 of them are only 90 pounds, but the one is 135. They're lap dogs. They think they're lap dogs. And these Rottweilers really did believe they were lap dogs. And I got down on the ground and let them. I love animals. I love animals. And I love Rottweilers. I will not have another animal, unfortunately. I have to worry about what happens to my animals if something happens to me. And obviously, no day is guaranteed for me. You know, they're in my town and they're not going to stop till I Isaac Cappy. Dogs are a blessing for sure. Yep. That's the thing is that's what got me out of it is because I was in bed with my dogs. They were all snuggled up to me. And as angry as I was with heaven blessed me with my dogs. You know, heaven blessed me. Heaven has blessed me with so much. Right now, yeah, I'm in the dark night of the soul. That's what it feels like. But it has to be for a reason. You know, it has to be for a reason. And I have to believe that. Even though when I get really angry, when I start thinking about it, I tell myself that I'm being delusional. Well, of course, I'm telling myself that, I think they're in my town. Well, I know that they're right next door to me. I know they're right next door. You know, that's who's breaking in. They watch me come and go. They watch me leave. They dance around like fucking dickheads. You know, the government dude is gone though. He didn't last long. I don't think he's liking life right now. The shit that I did when there was an F4 tornado less than a mile from my house. He came and shook my hand and looked me straight in the eye. Same thing with Chad Butler. I don't think he's happy either. I'm glad you have it at least documented it. Not that it matters with the law and how they don't give a shit, they don't care. But it is documented. It is documented. That's the thing that I was angry about with heaven. Why are you using me to scare survivors? No one's going to do the right thing when they're watching what I'm going through. But I just have to have faith that heaven's using it, you know. And I don't know if it helps. As bad as it is, I will tell you, it does in my heart feel like it's worth it. You know, there's nothing better than serving heaven. But look at what happened to the one who served heaven the most. You know, I don't think he had it easy in the end. I don't think any of us were. You know, the closer you get to God, the harder the tests are. That's just the shit part about it. It's how it works. We're being tested by fire. Saying it out loud does help, no matter what, and two, it does. He chose to lay himself down. Exactly cognitive. Exactly what I'm trying to emulate. I have chosen to lay myself down. I have chosen to go through because we're not supposed to worship Jesus Christ. We're supposed to emulate Jesus Christ. He showed us how to live. And that's what we're supposed to do. And so I put myself down, and the attacks are not easy. My God, they're so not easy. They're so not easy. And I get frustrated. And my PTSD, unfortunately, I don't get scared. I get irritable. And when I get irritable, I get mouthy. And nope, worship none. He didn't want to be worshiped, only heard. That's what Entu said. Yes, he came to show us how to live. Not how to worship, but how to live. Well, how we're supposed to be. We are supposed to, as much as we can, emulate our brother. Not talk about it. Not talk about it. Faith without works is dead. I said that in my last live, and I was way angrier than I am now. I couldn't hold on to that anger. I couldn't, And when I get angry, pot doesn't help with that. Just saying. When I get angry, I have to actually consciously get myself out of that mode and stop being angry. I have to make myself do it. And he pointed everyone always back to the spiritual kingdom. How to have pure love in our hearts. Fill your hearts with love and love all you can. The stuff that I am saying is not original. It's not mine. The stuff that I talk about isn't mine. It's all stuff we've heard before. I'm just trying to reiterate it and remind people, I'm not original. This stuff I'm saying all the time about love comes from Jesus Christ and the stuff that he told us. It's not original. I didn't sit around and come up with it on my own. I'm just trying to help. I'm David, hear me roar. Yeah, well, trust me, Cognitive, there are a few people who heard me roar this week who didn't much appreciate it. Because the truth I say that with this gamma radiation and where we are right now, people are saying, oh my God, everyone's going crazy, but we're not going crazy. We're becoming authentic. The masks are being stripped away. The gamma radiation is inundating so much and causing so much stress on people that they're becoming authentic. They're not going crazy. Who they always were is coming to the surface for everyone to see. And that's true for me as well. And I've had to spend this week, a week of introspection is usually what happens before my birthday. It starts before my birthday, and then it increases all the way to like New Year's. I'm heavily focused on where I want to go from here. I do that all the time. And it's like when I started with this live, giving the shit that they cast on me to he who dwells within the dark, and then asking for their souls to be claimed for all of their essence. They offered it, I accepted, I want it all. Knowing that this is going to hollow them out to a shell until they're dead. That's what's going to happen. That is about the antithesis of Jesus Christ. And yet, that is what I did. And like I said, when I meet my maker, but nowhere in the Bible does it say we must be perfect. It says we are flawed, in fact. We are. And I'm selling books, but I ain't teaching any classes on how to walk on water because I don't know how to walk on water. I don't know how to make the storms go away. I have to rely on heaven for that. Heaven protected my dumbass when there was a F4 tornado less than a mile from my house because my dumbass was on a ladder outside fooling with my security cameras at the exact same time. So heaven was watching out over me because what dumbass goes on a ladder when there's a tornado? But like I said, sometimes I'm not the brightest tool. And see, that's just what I mean. I'm not the brightest tool in the shed. Doesn't that just say it all? Right there. Doesn't that just say it all? You know, be the storm. I think I am quite the storm for these people. From what I gather, they wake up in the morning thinking about me. They go to bed thinking about me. They spend the entire day thinking about me. But it's funny because the day that I spent in bed last week, I didn't think about them at all. I wasn't focused on them, couldn't give a shit less about them. I was um, focused on heaven, you know? Okay, I don't like your name, but I do like what you just said. Q, I'm a quantum intelligence having a biological experience. I'm not a fan of QAnon. It's a Michael Aquino construct, but I will agree. David, Ron White said it is not the storm that's blowing. It's what the storm is blowing. Ooh, I like that. And it is. I'm not gonna let it go. And cognitive, I got that whole can't stop, don't stop, or can't stop, won't stop from cognitive. I know cognitive did not get it from Diddy, and I like the saying. I don't care if Diddy said it. Diddy rapped. He was a famous rapper. I'm sure he said a lot of things. You know, he doesn't have the hold on what is said. Ron White is a comedian. I think I know who Ron White is, but it's still a good point. And it is what the storm is blowing. I'm stubborn as hell. Heaven made me that way for the fight. That's what cognitive said. Into. I also realize that when I watch this stuff, a lot of times I'm reading stuff. I don't want anybody to think that I'm so brilliant that I'm coming up with this stuff all of my own. A lot of times I'm reading people's comments. And again, like I said, in the last live, people's comments, oh my, you do not realize how much you helped me. You do not realize how much those comments helped me. And so I just ask that you guys just keep doing the comments. They can't go after everybody, you know? And they fail. They fail with me constantly. I haven't lost my house. I haven't been incarcerated. I haven't been lobotomized. I haven't been Isaac Cappied. You know, they can say whatever they want. But Blue Comedy Tour was the best. Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Ooh, I think I've seen that. I don't think I've ever watched it. Ron Tater Salad White. That's funny. Well, I'm going to pray. And then I'll probably get off here. I'm almost at an hour. I like to keep these at about an hour. People actually listen to them more when they're shorter than when they're longer. Check out my blog, davidshurter.com. That's where all the good stuff is. Because I don't post the good stuff. I don't do what I used to do because they're too busy trying to take the stuff down. So now I just tell everyone, davidshurter.com. This last week has been intense. And there's a lot of stuff that you should check out on there. And it's the one thing that they can't complain and get it taken down. That's the cool thing, is that they can't complain and get my blog taken down. Who are they going to do? Complain to me They do all day long. Yesterday, I shut my phone off because now I've just gotten to the point where I have to shut my phone off because otherwise it is constant. The day before yesterday, I went to bed early. I fell asleep at about 4:30 in the afternoon. Got up at about 12:30 to go pee. Made the mistake of looking at my phone. And of course, when I see it, I want to deal with it right away. It's not something that I want to just, oh, I'll deal with it in the morning. It never works that way with me. So when you see me posting at 1 o'clock in the morning, it's because I've gotten up to pee, I've looked at my phone, whatever's been on my phone has irritated me, and I want to deal with it before I go back to sleep. So I don't have it waiting for me when I get up. Because it's hard to sleep when you have things waiting for you like that. And so, um, but a lot of this stuff, like I said, I think the free range human person who came to my house when Zachary came and was going to start doing my documentary, who stayed at my house for 4 days and secretly recorded everything. I think that's the same person who calls themselves Emily Thorn and calls themselves Skillz. I bet it's the same person. You want to see a picture of him? Go to my blog and click on the thing. That picture was taken in my dining room in Council Bluffs. You know? Oh, I always forget that. If you like this content, hit the like and the share and the subscribe. I always forget all that. I'm just I do this because I want the information out. I don't do this because I want to build a channel and be big. And I'm not looking to be famous. I'm not pretty enough to be famous. You know, I just want the information out there. You know, and again, if those of you who want my book, PayPal and Venmo is just D Shurter. Tell me who I'm inscribing the book to. Tell me where I'm sending it. And the last person who got a book, I got it out the same day. I try to get them out immediately. Because if I don't get them out immediately, people have to. It's only happened once, and that person knows who they are. Completely spaced it. Thank God it was with someone who actually cares and likes me, and I just didn't irritate someone thinking, oh, you know. I hear that when people complain about Noreen all the time. She takes money, but she never sends out the books. I don't do that. You know, I don't do that. I send the book out. Otherwise, you're going to be pissed off at me. And then I'm going to have people who actually I care about irritated with me. I have enough people out there who have bad intent for me in their minds all the time. I don't need anybody else. You know, I certainly don't want to irritate people. So I try and get those books, you know. I'm still on the fence about Noreen, just saying. And that's totally fine. I am not on the fence, just saying. But we all have to have our own discernment. And I am not here to tell any of you how to think. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I just ask that you at least consider the things that I'm saying. You don't have to agree. You don't. All I ask is that you at least consider it. At least take a moment and think about it. Because I'm not lying to anybody. You know, I could be wrong. Cognitive says I'm not. Same with the Wetterling parents. Cognitive, don't get me on that Jacob Wetterling thing. It will ruin my whole day. It will ruin my whole day. And I don't have any pot to actually help me. And I don't want to be angry like that anymore. That's all right, Cognitive. That's all right. You know my situation with Jacob Wetterling. I've been quite honest with it. That's the reason why they wanted all this shit taken down. That's the reason why they're trying to get this station taken down. They tell me that I'm obsessed with my social media, and yet they're the ones who are going on everything I'm doing and reporting everything, watching every single thing. They were making videos. They were watching my stuff with such intent that they were looking for certain words that I would speak so they could piece them together in videos. So it was just it. Do you know how much time and effort that had to have taken? Focusing on me, you know? Giant bear in our woods. Hope he's hibernating now so I can go snowshoe this winter. We did get a little dusting of snow. I was so excited. I love snow. Oh, thank you, Into. Someone asked me to do a video about Ted Gunderson. I tell you what, why don't I just quick do that? Because just Ted Gunderson was a two-faced dickhead. I was telling him stuff, and he was running to Noreen and telling Noreen the stuff that I was saying. This is when I started to have a problem with Noreen. And I definitely had a problem with Bonacci. And so I confronted Ted Gunderson, who was always blowing smoke up my ass. Every time he called me, he told me he would call me a great American. I was just a great American. Blah, 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 blah. But he was friends with Michael Aquino. That whole thing in the late 80s, early 90s, when he and Michael Aquino, who was dressed like some weird ass Merlin dude, that they were working hand in hand. I was telling stuff that I was having problems with, and when I confronted Ted Gunderson, he told me that he was an information gatherer. And the very last thing I said to him was, dude, you're not an information gatherer. You're an information sharer. You are against the victims. Because now, knowing what we know about dissociative identity disorder, multiple personality disorder, go back and watch those videos with Paul Bonacci and Ted Gunderson. It is such a pathetic, terrible act on Bonacci. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It was all a put up bullshit deal. Ted Gunderson was best friends with John DeCamp. If you listen to Alicia Owen, John DeCamp was supposedly her lawyer, and Alicia Owen will tell you that he didn't do shit for her. Didn't do shit. And why? Because Alicia Owen back at Franklin was the key to breaking it all apart, because she was pregnant with Omaha Chief of Police Robert Wadman's baby, and she was 15. She's the one who has spent the most time in solitary confinement. It's funny. So Aquino was supposed to have killed himself September 1st, 2019, but then 3 years later, he did it all over again. Did it all over again. Came all out. So I used to laugh about it, but I don't think it's funny. He committed suicide. Then he obviously, resurrected himself. And then 3 years later, realized that he made the right choice the last time and killed himself again 3 years later. I personally don't think Aquino is dead. Considering the fact that he is supposedly has killed himself twice, why would anyone just assume he's dead? How the fuck do you kill yourself twice? I don't think he's dead. I think he's hiding. And for those of you, I will put this so that if any of you are thinking about self-harm, please reach out to people, contact people. There are, the suicide hotline, you know, but Michael Aquino wasn't the type. Wasn't the type. He's not dead. And I don't believe this whole alien bullshit. I don't. I'm sorry, I just don't. And if it's true and they've been in the oceans for decades, that means they were lying to us the whole time now. So now we're supposed to believe them? They lied to us for decades and now we're supposed to believe them? Now they're suddenly telling us the truth? You know, I just want to pray. I just want to pray. Really what I want to do is get high, but I can't do that. So I'm going to pray. Heaven, we come to you as your children. Thank you for being patient with me this week. You know that I was having my soul was in a very dark place. I'm just on the other side of it. I haven't escaped it yet. But that whole fake it till you make it kind of thing is what I'm adopting now. Please make us strong and give us the discernment that we need to be able to see how things are and not how people want to portray them. Help us to see the truth and help us to respond accordingly. You sent your son to teach us how to live. I obviously am not going to be teaching anybody how to walk on water anytime soon. I just want you to know I'm trying. I'm trying. I think a lot of us in here are trying. Let my words be heard. At least let people consider what I'm saying. What they do is totally up to them, but at least open their hearts enough to where they at least kind of see where I'm coming from. If there are those who are losing hope, and I know there are because of everything that's going on, please give them strength and give them hope. And we're so grateful that you sent your son, our brother, to teach us how to live. And we say these things in your son and our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Someone is starving. They are fading away. Lord, watch over David when he needs you. Protect him from attacks and keep love in his heart and his voice loud, Lord. In Mother Mary's name, in Jesus' name, amen. I take it you're Catholic into, which is fine. I mean, it's not anything I would ever do because of my past and my abuse. All according to his will. Can't stop, won't stop. By his grace and favor, we fill our hearts with love. Oh, Cognitive says, you were born Catholic. I knew you had something because most people don't talk about Mary unless they have a background in Catholicism. I have a background in Catholicism, but there's a reason why I turned away from the Catholic Church, you know? Oh, dude. Well, then I tell you what. Lisa has reported me for crypto fascist grooming. So I guess that proven you never met any guy who believes in Jesus. Well, then you hang out with the wrong people. That's on you, not on anybody else. They're all in here. They hate it when I pray. They hate it when I pray. They hate it when I pray. And you can appreciate non-denominational love for Jesus Christ. I hope we can all appreciate non-denominational love for Jesus Christ. Mine is totally non-denominational. Jesus Christ wasn't a Christian. He was Jewish. I'm educated into says, yes, David, no, I'm just spiritual now. And I am educated on all religions. Me too. I got involved, I read up on all religions because when I was a kid, I was desperately trying to seek out how not to be the vessel for the Antichrist. And it's funny because there's not one spiritual text out there for any religion that will tell you if you're the vessel for the Antichrist, how to get out of it. It's funny how it works that way. There's nothing out there. I've looked at all of it. Read the Quran, Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Bible, 3 times from front to cover, and I don't know how many times just opening up and reading. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Right here, the 8 Beatitudes of Jesus. That's what I have on, that's what that picture is right there. The 8 Beatitudes of Jesus. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed for those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the child of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted in the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. If you want to know how to live, Jesus Christ taught us how to live. Better than anybody, obviously. Fill your hearts with love. Fill your hearts with love. Love all you can. And try to avoid the evil. It's being promoted so hard. Sermon on the Mount is beautiful. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Forcefully, which is how I know Jesus ain't in a book or a building. The kingdom of heaven is inside of us and all around us, not in buildings made of wood or stone. Split a piece of wood, you will find me. Lift a rock, and I am there. Gospel of Thomas. Beautiful, 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 and 100% true. So, with that said, I'll probably do another video next week. I'll try to do one on my birthday. It's hard because the stress is pretty damn harsh right now. In fact, after I get off here, happy birth season. Mutable fire is Sagittarius. May that fire be a good fire. I hope so. Put your bare feet on the ground before snow comes. Man, I went outside when the flurries were there. I love snow. I love winter. I'm a winter person. I hate summer, but I love winter. And I love snow and cold. You know, the other day it was 20 degrees outside and I was able to go outside in my coat and just sit out in the cold. I love that. I think it's because of it's the Northern European in me, but I so prefer winter. And even though Christmas sucks, and I've never really, that I can remember, ever had a good Christmas, I love Christmas. I love the thought of Christmas. That's the reason why I have nativity scenes all over my house, and they stay out all year round. I love nativity scenes. I love all things earth. It's the Capricorn in me. You know, I'm Sagittarius, I'm a fire sign, and yet I gravitate towards water. It's the weirdest thing. And I'm not what everyone, Sagittarius are supposed to be adventurers and travelers. And I have not traveled that much. So I think I'm going to go take a bath. I'm just stressed out. Sick of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I do have to say, I'm sick of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But you got to eat something to fill the hole. Cognitive says I'm a water sign. We love nature and rocks and animals. I love nature. Into the place. Into says, because we rock, David. Duh. Yeah. My other half used to laugh because he was just like, for you, it's the easiest thing. All I have to do is go out and find a nice stick and some rocks that are cool. And you're all happy. And it's true. I like rocks and sticks. You know, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get off here. I'm kind of stressed out. And last thing, selling a book. PayPal, Venmo, Shurter. I'll inscribe it. Tell me who I'm inscribing it to and where I'm mailing it to. Donations are always accepted and certainly totally appreciated. And I better go feed my dogs because she's going to be up here in a moment again because she is fading away. She hasn't eaten since 5 o'clock last night. And if she doesn't eat right now, there'll be nothing left of her by the time I go down there in 10 minutes. She's coming back up right now. I can hear her coming back up the steps. So with that said, yep, here she comes. All right. They get to eat more than I do. Of course, they like it that I'm eating peanut butter sandwiches because they love peanut butter. That's why these idiots break into my house and feed it to them. She is back up here. She is wasting away. She is just, if she doesn't get something to eat soon, oh man, you can't get on me with that table right there. You're so sweet. Okay, with that said, have a great rest of the weekend, guys. Have a nice week, and I'll see you next week. She is huge. She's 140 pounds. She is 140 pounds. But pretty soon she's going to be nothing because she is wasting away right now. She is just fading away. She is just, if she doesn't eat right now, there'll be nothing left of her. There'll just be nothing left of her. Oh, yes. Thank you for those kisses. Okay. All right. It's time to get off of here. Oh, as she spilled my coffee. Okay. I got to get off here. I'll talk to you guys soon.